Hi guys, I'm doing this on the road in between commitments, otherwise I'll never get it done. It would be irrelevant by the time I got a proper moment. I know I seem to be staying on this point. It's an important one though, and Foodie seems to be going on and on about it. I've tried to understand why she seems to hate Christianity with passion. I want to draw attention to the language she's using in reference to Christianity in one of her latest streams.
Do you guys go after Christians like this? I'm just wondering. Would you go pick on Christian or other people of other like religions? People, hey Danielle, people who say, oh, you didn't even learn about Islam, maybe learn about the religion first. Well, okay, let's go for that argument then. When I was baptized as a baby and I was shitting my diaper, I didn't know anything about Christianity.
In the same sentence she talks about Christianity, she uses the word shitting. Her psychology gives away exactly what she's always thought about Jesus and Christianity. It's very telling the nomenclature she places Jesus and his movement in. I say movement because Jesus was controversial in his time, and he went against common thought. He was inspired by the Essenes, lived according to minimalism and simplicity, and engaged in a lifestyle that made him weird to mainstream society, not unlike people who abstain from eating meat today. He was seen as a heretic. Eusebius tells us he, his brother James, and the disciples didn't consume flesh or alcohol. A religious lesson isn't what I'm here for. I'm saying these things to draw a contrast between Jesus' way of life and Chantal's belief system. Not that the huge contrast needs to be proven. It's pretty obvious that Foodie and Christ are so far apart. I want to establish why Chantal hates Jesus and his following, with passion. Narcissists hate compassionate and kind people. Jesus is everything Chantal can't be. She hasn't narrated anything traumatic about her past in relation to Catholicism. It isn't a matter of bad experiences. It comes down to Jesus being self-sacrificing, forgiving, and caring, the exact opposite of Chantal. Christianity calls for her to be kind and accountable. It does so now, and it did so when she was a child. It asks her to refrain from everything she has fallen headfirst into throughout her entire life, and everything she has excessively indulged in. You may say in response to my statement that any religion, including the current one she professes to be a follower of, requires accountability. The difference is that Islam comes attached to a man in her mind. Therefore, it comes hand in hand with validation, attention, and 24-hour doting over her. She has told us in exact words that she wants to be adored around the clock, every moment of a day. In her own words, she sees Islam as the gift-bearer that brings her a man. The path to Christianity is a lean one and difficult, often lonely one. Typically, a Muslim lifestyle expects marriage. In the case of men, it allows polygamy. In Christianity, there is monastic practice, where people choose to dedicate their life entirely to their faith. They don't engage in marriage, and they abstain from all earthly things. I'm not saying abstinence from marriage is compulsory if you are a Christian. The faith asks for us not to judge, to be open-minded, but it also expects self-sacrifice with a simple, humble lifestyle. Islam comes with a stricter code to abide by, yet it mainly restricts women. It is very much a part of Middle Eastern culture to display a grand lifestyle, glamorous homes and high social status. Typically, Christianity sees all these things as a sin. We know which way suits Foodie's pleasure-driven and immediate gratification existence. The second main point I want to talk about, I've identified as dubious again from my listening to Deception Detective. The crap that she dared to let come out of her mouth as an excuse of why Julia, her cat in Kuwait and Syria, got matted fur is embarrassing. Watch carefully her face for the exaggerated reactions as she tries to convince viewers about the lies she unashamedly speaks.
I'm just saying, cats are like a 15 to 20-year commitment. Like, you kind of have to be there for your pets, so.
You're aware of this, and yet you left your cats in Canada for a strange man. And you also left Julia in Kuwait at regular intervals so you could travel.
Like, basically, having a cat will cement that I could never travel for, long, long periods. Hey, listen, Sam was not matted. That's such bullshit lies. None of my cats ever were so matted that it was like a health problem, ever. That's lies. They weren't matted in my care, that's for sure. And you know what? They weren't mad if they sometimes they occasionally got a mat. His fur was so long, especially on his belly. That happens with long hair cats. There's not one long hair cat on this earth that doesn't get even a small mat. It don't matter how much you pay attention to them. You're just full of shit. Julia was shaved, yeah, mostly because it was really hot in Syria. And she was matted because, well, she had some mats, like one mostly under her armpit, but there was a mat, but she got matted because, well, I left before, Salah, and he looks after her, but she traveled from Kuwait to Syria, and it was a long day doing like leaving the country process and stuff like that. And she excessively grooms to the point where with this like thick white spit that's almost like glue. Ugh, anyway, her fur was all gross.
Ma'am, stop it! I've had animals for more than 4 decades and never once did any of the cats I've been blessed to share my journey with groomed with a thick white spit. No cat saliva has ever resembled glue. This is getting really bad now.
When she's nervous and traveling, that's what she does. But no, not just in a day, but I'm sure that gluey spit stuff made the fur, No, come on, Chantal. Like, I really take good care of my pets, okay? So, yeah, she did become matted. Like, when I got to Syria, she was matted a bit, but not, she wasn't mat. She had a couple mats, and it was hot, so we just decided to shave her. Like, fuck, you want to sentence me to 5 years or something? Like, your guys are annoying. Goodbye, Starvin' Marvin. Mind your business.